This isn't gonna get us to 1,000 horsepower, but this will. Today, we're at HeadGames. Hey, this is Bryan. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. Welcome back to video 2 of our Chasing 1,000 Horsepower series in my F80 M3. Today, we're with the best of the best, Dave at HeadGames. Dave, thanks for having us.
Thank you for choosing HeadGames.
Now, Dave, before we go through the process of transforming a stock cylinder head to a fully upgraded one, can you give the viewers just a little sense of why they'd want to do this at all?
Well, if you want to make that big number, basically an engine is just a big air pump. So the more air and fuel we can get in it, the more power it's going to make. So we want to make sure that we make the components as well. We want to upgrade the valves and the springs to withstand all the heat and the horsepower that we're going to throw at this thing.
Dave, let's move around the other side of the table, and why don't you walk us through the process of what's going to happen to my cylinder head. Now, this one is not mine, but this is just an example. And I know we're going to skip some steps. I know we're not going to unbox it. We're not going to clean it, but can you just walk us through and tell us, what we're looking at and what we're looking for?
So, like you said, the first thing we're going to do is disassemble it, and we're going to inspect it, and we're going to clean it. So when we look for an inspection, we want to make sure that the core is a good core to start with, so you're not just going through the process with a junk head and finding out later. So it might get damaged in shipping or something happened to the engine. So we'll look for cracks. These are very prone to cracking between the spark plug and the valve seat on the exhaust side. They also will burn. They burn all in this area right around the spark plug. And you also sometimes will see part of the piston actually will come apart when they burn, and they'll like detonation marks over here. And we flip the head over. This part right here, this cam bridge, always getting damaged in shipping. This is a very important thing to protect. If you damage this, the head is garbage. And this head is very expensive. It's a $5,500 cylinder head, so you don't want to have to replace it.
Now, Dave, on the underside here, we talked about some of the cracks, in this general area and whatnot. Are any of these things repairable, or if you got a head like this, it just goes right into the trash?
It just goes right into the trash, because what happens is if you go to try to fix this, now you're going to be putting a time cert or a Healy coil in there. And again, we're talking about heat. There's going to be a lot of heat in this. And also you would have to weld that whole area up and put valve seats in it. At that point, you're just kind of, you're shining a turd. And it's not worth doing it. The heads are going to go through a few cleaning processes, and then they get a second inspection. So we'll take the head here, and we'll put it in the ultrasonic, we'll put it in the spray washer, we let it sit for a day, we blow it out, then we put it into the bead blaster, we bead blast it, it gets blown out again, it gets cleaned again, and then we go through our second inspection process.
So where does it go from here?
So from here, it would go into the bead blaster, we're gonna bead blast it, and then we're gonna knock guides out.
All right, so Dave, after bead blasting, it goes back to cleaning, and then it goes to the CNC machine, and then it ends up here. So what happens after it's CNC'd? Because if I didn't know anything, I would have said after the CNC it should be done. But it's not, so what happens? People
have this idea that a CNC machine makes every head perfect. But in reality, you're taking an imperfect part that's a casted cylinder head, and you're running it through a CNC machine. The machine's stupid. It doesn't know where the port is. It just knows where it's supposed to be.
Right.
So what we do is we go in and we blend all the pieces that didn't get caught up with the CNC.
Okay, so now Dave has already done this one. It's been to the CNC, it's been cleaned, it's been blended, and it's been cleaned again. So from here, let's take it to the next part of the process.
So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna heat the head up so that the aluminum expands. And once the aluminum expands, it's easier to take the valve guides out. As you can expect, anytime you're trying to put something in a tight hole, you might need to lubricate it or do something else. So what we do is we'll heat the head up and we'll freeze the valve guide and put some lube on it. That way the press fit is easy. So after cleaning it another time, we always have to keep it clean,
Is that
right?
number 5?
I think we're like 4 or 5, somewhere in that area. So now you can't just take a valve and put it in a valve guide. Once you install the valve guide, it needs to be sized so that there is a clearance between the valve stem and the valve guide.
Now, what's a typical clearance for something like that?
So we try to do 1.2 to 1.5, so that's like 1/1000.
Okay.
It's about the size of your hair.
Nice.
So
all of it?
All of it. Just one strand. So what we do is we take a reamer. This is a custom reamer, and we from Dakota Parts Warehouse, and we ream the inside of the guide to the size that we need. All right, so now the valve guides are reamed and we're ready to rock and do a valve job. Let's roll. All right, so now we're ready to do a valve job. Why it was so important to do the valve guide is because this pilot here has to center off the valve guide. And that way the machine will center off of that. So we are gonna show you. Oh, you gotta take the emergency stop off. As you can see, it centers off the guide, and we're ready to valve job. So I hear a lot, I get this phone call a lot, and they're like, holy crap, can you do a 5-angle valve job? But guess what? Not all valve jobs are created equal. In fact, you really have to do a lot of testing and know what angles are the right angles for your head. Just because there's 5 angles or 4 angles or even 3, it's the correct angles that actually make a difference. So as you can see, these are just 3 cutters that we have that are completely different, and they're also for completely different cylinder heads. So just because you want a certain amount of angles doesn't mean it's the right one.
Now, what does the S55 typically get?
That is a secret for you not to know.
So even though Dave won't tell me, it's little things like that that is the secret sauce that he brings to the table with these cylinder heads.
That's right, because not everything's going to be created equal, and it took a lot of R&D for us to figure out what is the right angle for this.
And one of the things we were talking about earlier was about the flow bench when we were talking off camera. And you're saying like a lot of the guys are just bigger is always better, but it's not always the case. And there's definitely a lot of proprietary information in what you're doing to make it the absolute best.
Absolutely. So sometimes you can open up something and you think it's the right way to do it, but in reality it hurts it. So you think you're doing good, and in reality you're hurting all the power that you could gain at doing it the correct way. But you're not going to just wing it and figure it out.
Right.
You have to have some kind of experience or putting on a flow bench.
Right. And I assume that there's been, a good amount of trial and error to make sure that you actually perfect it.
Absolutely. So we go through a huge process before we go to digitize something. We'll cut a head apart and we valve job it. We stick it on the flow bench, and it seesaws back and forth until we find the correct one.
Now with these valves, are they specially made for the S55?
Yes, so we had Freya Racing make us a Comp Plus, one of their higher grade. It's called Pneumonic 90 on the exhaust. It's EV8 on the intake. So we get a special tulip on the backside of the valve, so it flows a little bit better. And they swirl polish it on the top here, and yeah, it's a special deal right from Freya for HeadGames.
Great. Now you just mentioned about the 45, and we had talked previously about multiple angles. So is the 45 the only one that's actually sealing?
Yes, so most cars today are on a 45-degree angle, except for a few. So it's the seat angle is what they call it, and the seat has to match the angle on the valve. So once this is, so that's why he lapped it, he wants to see where the seat is. The angles above and below it actually don't seal anything, but they are for airflow.
Oh, okay. So by changing those, you can alter the airflow?
Exactly. We can put the airflow up high or below, depending on what size cam it is.
It's amazing how just small little changes like that
It
can
totally
make
changes.
a big difference.
So after washing it one more time before it gets here, we do that as again for cleanliness, right? So we put it on the milling machine. Now the milling machine is not only going to make your head flat, but it's also going to make it so you can have a head gasket that seals to it. So it has to have the correct RA finish. Now what you have here is a fixture. So it takes 2 straight edges and it goes across here, and that way we ensure that the head is flat.
Okay.
So then he's going to measure it with this along 4 corners just to make sure that we're in the correct spot. So after we milled it, now we have to deburr it. Deburring is going to take away all the hot spots, but also any sharp edges that might cut you.
So let me guess, after over there, it's clean?
Well, we actually wash it one more time. We put it in the sink this time, we wash it by hand.
Okay.
And then it gets blowed out, and it actually will sit on the assembly bench for 24 hours. We do that so there's no moisture left in the head.
Okay.
And then we're ready for the HeadGames Forea valves and our HeadGames spring kit.
Now I've heard on other S55s that they get valve float because they don't have the right springs in. So you want to tell us a little bit more about what you have here?
So what we did was we took measurements and we made sure that we used a valve spring that would not only fit in the S55, we had to make retainers. GSC Power Division make us retainers. So what we did was we increased the spring pressure to a little over 100 pounds on the seat and 200 open. And we run these springs very close to coil bind. We run these springs close to coil bind because we want to use the spring itself as an absorber. So we run them like 30 to 40 to bind. And when the spring is like that, it will almost contact and it will stop it from valve float.
Now, how do you actually test the springs?
So first we're going to measure it in the actual head that it's going into, and then we put it in our spring checker. So now we're going to take our spring and we're going to put it into our Buxton spring checker. And we're going to set this for, we have a spring height of 1365 and our valve lift is 0.390. For you guys out there, it's 9.9 millimeter. And then we press the magic handle and we have 94 pounds on the seat, 200 open, and we're 67 thousandths away from coil bind. So what this means is that coil bind means that the coils are 67 thousandths away from touching each other. So now that we have all this done, we're ready to assemble.
All right.
So now you've seen the whole process. We went through the whole head and now it's ready to go. Ready for Bryan to beat the crap out of it, do whatever he's got to do and make as much power as we can make.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for having us in. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys for coming along and checking out the whole process. Learn how you can get ahead with HeadGames.
And for all the information for Dave and his stuff, be sure to see the links in the description. Once again, my name is Bryan, that's Dave. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe and check us out at kiesmotorsports.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.